others. So sometimes I think, what if only 2 people show up? But this is wonderful. And especially on such short notice. So I appreciate that everybody was able to make this work with their calendars. I think you'll be happy that you made time to hear these 2 wonderful speakers who we have with us. They come to us from Israel to talk about their experience on Kibbutz Be'eri. I had the honor, as Rabbi said, of hearing them talk last Sunday at an event with the congregation in Venice, and their message resonated with me in many ways. First, I've always been aware of the fact that I, and really all Jews living in the diaspora, could be living in Israel today if it weren't for some choice that were made years ago by someone in our family. So we could have experienced October 7th ourselves. We could be watching our children leaving to fight in the war. Second, the speakers spoke so enthusiastically about the help that they received from Jews all over the world after they were forced to evacuate their beloved kibbutz, reminding us all that we really are one big family. And third, our speakers, who are about the ages of my own children, have been through so much more than any young adult should have to go through, yet they're filled with life and with hope. So I hope that you will find them as inspiring as I did as you listen to their stories this morning. Afterwards, we'll have time for questions and answers, and then we'll have light refreshments out in the hallway just out here. Please be aware that there are other events going on in the social hall, so our area is really here and the hallway outside. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our speakers. I'll do both introductions and then you all can come up and speak after. First, we have Daphna Amati. Daphna was born and raised in Kibbutz Be'eri, which remains her parents' home to this day. She holds a bachelor's in political science, communication, and international relations. And in 2015, Daphna enlisted in the Israeli Air Force, where she trained as an air traffic controller and then completed the officer's course and held various positions within the control unit. Throughout the Israel-Hamas war, Daphna took on a leadership role managing operations aimed at detecting and neutralizing enemy drones. After serving in the military for 9 years, Daphna recently completed her active duty and continues to serve in the reserves. Parallel to her military career, Daphna also developed a passion for music as a singer-songwriter, and following October 7th, many of her songs have taken on new and deeper meanings. Additionally, Daphna has been involved in extensive advocacy work worldwide, sharing the story of the devastation in Be'eri and the Gaza envelope. She aims to assist in the renewal and restoration of the region. So please welcome Daphna. And then we also have Yarden Sema. Yarden was born, raised, and educated in Kibbutz Be'eri, making him a 3rd-generation kibbutz member. He's one of 5 brothers and has a large extended family. His aunts, uncles, and cousins all reside in the kibbutz, and he's part of a long-standing Be'eri legacy. After years as an agriculture consultant outside of Israel and traveling worldwide, Yarden felt the need to return home to his roots. He established the avocado and mango agriculture infrastructure at Be'eri, the largest in the area and one of the biggest in Israel. For the past 6 years, Yarden has also volunteered as a guide for hiking, outdoor activities, and nature excursions for young children, encouraging their love for the land of Israel. Yarden is driven by curiosity, meaning, and community support, which led him to join this Be'eri fundraising and rebuilding team following the horrors of October 7th. Please welcome both Daphna and Yarden.
We are on our members. I personally lost my oldest brother that was fighting the security team on Kibbutz, fighting the terrorists for 7 hours to the last bullet. Managed to save many, but eventually losing his own life, leaving his wife and 2 children behind. We lost some of our best friends, community members, community leaders. So we lost a lot, but I really believe that on October 7 we also experienced a lot of miracles. For us, we lost 102 members from the Be'eri, and there was around 600 terrorists on the Be'eri on that day, on the 48 hours actually. So I really believe that anyone who survived is a miracle. We had many other miracles, including civilians and soldiers that left their home and stepped into the hell that was Be'eri on that day to fight, and people that didn't know us to fight and to rescue us. 26, in addition to 102 members from Be'eri who murdered, another 26 soldiers and first responders lost their life on that day. But for me, the biggest miracle that we experienced since October 7 is the connection that we feel as a community with Israel around the world, in Israel and in the diaspora. When we were evacuated with nothing but the clothes that on our body, we experienced the most beautiful hug and support when people did everything for us, whether it was clothes, opened their home, opened their hearts, helping us financially to get back on our feet. So I'm also here to say thank you, even though your community, the first time I'm meeting your community, I know that we've been on your prayers and on your hearts for the past year, and we feel it from a distance, even though we didn't know each other until now. And my biggest message from this day is, for you today, is that Be'eri suffered so much, and we lost everything, but this was also our home, and we are not giving up on our home, we are not giving up on our land. We will rebuild Be'eri, we will make it bigger and prettier than it was. Be'eri will be, once again, full with laughter, with children, with families. And we have around 200 people that already live in Be'eri, and it will take us 2 to 4 years to fully return, since we lost 40% of our homes were totally destroyed on the attack, burned and destroyed. But my main message today is that we are coming back. We are not giving up on our home. We are coming back. We will rebuild Be'eri, and Be'eri will be bigger and prettier than it was. Thank you.
Hello everyone, it's great to see you on Sunday morning. It's really exciting to meet so many great people during our journey. As Yarden said, we suffered a lot during that day, but it does not define who we are. It's one day from our life journey, and we're trying to stay optimistic, and that's the reason that we are here. To look in the eyes and to say, we are with you, we are not alone in that, and we are not victims. That's the biggest message that we want to say. And we will come back to the Negev and rebuild. This is what we're doing. I actually wasn't that day on Kibbutz Be'eri. I arrived the day before, on October 6th. It was a Simchat Torah, it was a huge celebration in the kibbutz. I was in vacation, my brother and I arrived to the kibbutz, and we woke up to hell. In about 6:30, the alarm started, as you may heard, and it was all over the country, but the sound was different. It was not like every time that was before. And in about 7 a.m., we got a message from a WhatsApp group that terrorists were trying to break inside of the kibbutz. And we thought, okay, maybe 3 or 4 terrorists somehow crossed the border and broke inside of the kibbutz. We didn't realize that there are hundreds of terrorists who came directly to Be'eri. And as Yerden said, Kibbutz Be'eri is the biggest kibbutz in the area, in the south of Israel. We were a symbol, so Hamas tried to attack us as a kibbutz as hard as can be. In about the middle of the day, the terrorists arrived to my house, my personal house. I was in my parents' house. And my father, who had a gun, decided to go outside and fight against them. I didn't believe that he can do anything. They were with grenades and bombs and RPGs. They became very ready, and he was one against many. But eventually he shot them, and they escaped. And on that moment, he saved my family's life. It's hard to describe 24 hours in 5 minutes. But just try to imagine how terrifying it was to sit in the safe room in your house in Shabbat morning with your pajamas, with terrorists all over, and you can do nothing against them. But my family and I had a miracle, and my father, as brave, saved our life, actually. We were evacuated from the kibbutz after more than 24 hours. It was a long night, it was still a war zone, and we arrived in the morning after to the Dead Sea. That's a place where the community stayed for our last year. And in the first day, it was a completely mess. Everyone was spread all over the country, from Haifa to Eilat. People from Be'eri was all over. We didn't know what happened to our friends, who was kidnapped, who was murdered, what happened to our community, to our great community. And as Aden said, we know everyone, and eventually we lost 102 members. 36 was kidnapped to Gaza. Still, 10 are still there, and 3 of them are considered to be alive. And it's people that we knew, and we know for their whole life. So praying every day for their return as soon as can be. But as we said at the beginning, we are trying to stay optimistic because it was only one day. We cannot stop our life and be in the bed all day and cry for what happened to us. We need to stand on our feet and say, okay, something horrible happened, but we are not victims. We are doing our best to come back to our home. So this is a little bit of my personal story.
So just a little bit about the situation of the community right now. The community has been all evacuated to an hotel in the Dead Sea on October 7, October 8, October 9, wherever each of them were evacuated. And we've been staying in this hotel for a year. I personally came back to Be'eri about 2 weeks after October 7. I said, I don't want to be a refugee. I'm coming back. My home survived. So I came back. I cleaned my home and I came back. I was the second one to come back to Be'eri. I was just me and the soldiers were there. And the army actually didn't let me at the beginning because it was a closed military zone. I told them, thank you, but this is my home, and this is my home, and this is where I'm going to live. And right now there are about 200 people that live in Be'eri. The community has moved from the hotel in the Dead Sea to our temporary housing that was built by the government in Kibbutz Be'eri, since many of our community members don't have a home to return to. And we want the community to heal, and Kibbutz Be'eri still sounds like a war zone, so it's still not a place to bring back the children. We decided to be in Kibbutz Be'eri for the temporary phase, and we will be there between 2 to 4 years until we will rebuild Be'eri and come back to Be'eri. So this is the situation right now. Any questions?
Pass around the microphone so everybody can hear. And, yeah, okay, please.
Can you describe what your shelter is like for people who aren't familiar with that?
regular room, not that large, mid-size. Until that day, it used to protect us from rockets. We didn't find that we need protection from bullets or things that are more something different. So during that day, we realized that the shelters, the safe room, are not bulletproof. So it did not protect the families from the direction, the directly attacked of the terrorists that arrived to their rooms. Just try to imagine a regular room when you sit with your whole family and terrorists are behind the door trying to break inside and you are not safe. That was the situation of most of the families in Kibbutz Be'eri. We had no electronic device. They turned off the lights and everything. We had no food. It was dark and scary. And yeah, it was tough hours.
Thank you. Yeah.
I actually have two questions, but one is something I read that prior to October 7th, Hamas was sort of strategizing about making them seem friendly to, sort of a peaceful ceasefire. And a lot of Palestinians from Gaza came over the border to work in the kibbutzim. And I don't know if you have any reaction to that, because it seems like some of them were spies and actually, this is what I read, and actually were diagramming the kibbutzim, particularly where they say houses were. So that's one aspect. But the other one, which I'm most concerned about, is what's going on now with the war so long and the hostages still there, and the reaction you have to people.
Yes, so as you said, the Hamas didn't shoot any rockets prior to October 7 for, I believe, around 1.5 years. So it was the most quiet. There was the Islamic Jihad that was shooting, which was in the government and in the military generals. They separated, even though we know that they were coordinated. So Hamas was not shooting rockets for, I think, 1.5 or 2 years even. And we did have, in the past 3 years before the attack, there was, after 20 years that the border was closed, there was a return of workers to the construction and agriculture industries in Israel, especially in our region, because this is the closest place. And yeah, we don't know exactly about the area, but we know that these workers were helping Hamas in a way, whether if they wanted or forced, but
it's difficult for me to comprehend how Israel got caught on October the 7th. And I worked for Martin Marietta that provided special technology to Israeli aircraft. The aircraft could go over Iran undetected many different times. With that technology, it seemed impossible for Israel to be caught unawares on October 7th. Can you explain how this technology that Israel had could be caught unawares?
I think it's a question that we don't really have an answer to yet. I know that even today, we see during the past year of the war that Israel, in a way, didn't have enough information about Gaza. Even Yehi Sinwar was killed by accident. It wasn't that we had any information about Gaza. Israel, I think the intelligence services saw Gaza as our smallest problem of all problems that we have. So they focus more on Iran and Hezbollah and less in Gaza. And it was since we haven't been to Gaza for the past 20 years, there was no troops on the ground. It was very hard even to set the structure for intelligence. But it's true, we don't have a good answer for that, and hopefully we learn from it.
Thank you. And I just want to make a statement too. I think we've been talking about here in the States, and we know, I think the Jewish people have all experienced a trauma since October 7th, and none more so than you all and your families and your friends. And we're all trying to deal with the trauma of October 7th, and we're still living it, and we're all healing from it. And at the same time, as our wonderful new friends and speakers and guests said, we're not going to be defined by this day. Not going to be defined by October 7th. As Israelis, as Jewish people. And I think I would like us to move the conversation now and the questioning to let's talk about the incredible history of Kibbutz Be'eri and your efforts to rebuild and how we can help and how we can support you. Because as our guest said, before the state of Israel, the Medina Israel in 1948 and 1946, October 6th, Be'eri was created. And I wonder if you can share with us, some of the things that the kibbutz produces, the main things that the kibbutz produces. You mentioned it before, but I wonder if you could talk more about that and maybe talk about your rebuilding efforts and what you'd like to see happen in the next couple of years and how we can help. So, and then we'll take some more questions, but I start here.
Yes, so Kibbutz Be'eri, as I said before, is the biggest kibbutz in our region. We are also the biggest employee in our region. We have 400 workers from all over the region, from little towns, Sderot, Netivot, Ofakim, which is small cities in the region, from kibbutzim and moshavim. We have workers from the Bedouin Arabs that live in the region. We have a special social program with the Ethiopian Jews, which we are giving them scholarships in exchange for working in Be'eri, and some of them even came to live in Be'eri and got married to people from Be'eri. And we've been doing it for a long time, so we are a big, since since we are the biggest employee in the region, we have a big impact on the whole region. We actually came back. We have a printing factory that is the biggest in Israel. We print all the credit cards, all the licenses, and invoice mails. We are the biggest in Israel, so it has provided us with a lot of work. And we actually decided after a week to come back to operate the printing factory. We decided that we are kibbutznikim. We were raised on hard work. We don't like to miss a day of work. And after a week, we said, okay, it's time to reopen and come back to work. Of course, each in his own pace. Not everybody was able to come back after a week, but we came back to work after a week, some of us, and we've been operating the kibbutz ever since. People have worked very hard, driving 1.5 hours one way from the Dead Sea to the kibbutz every day just to operate our businesses, and especially the printing factory and the agriculture. And we were a strong kibbutz on October 7th. We are one of the reasons that we are here is to do fundraising for the things that happened because of October 7th. For example, opening a trust for mental health treatment for everyone in Be'eri. It will be that I believe that everybody needs, but most already received. But we know that the government doesn't provide enough funds for mental health. The government right now is providing 12 sessions a year per person, which is not enough, and it doesn't provide a different kind of treatment like horseback riding or things like this, surfing that many of the, especially the teenagers, find more helpful for them. For our temporary housing, to put things like lawns outside grass, because it's all now, right now it's all dust and soon it will be all mud. And just a little bit thing, this kind of thing that will make us feel a little bit at home in our temporary homes, since we need 2 to 4 years for the community to heal. We try to make our life as simple as possible over there. And also eventually the rebuilding of Be'eri, which is the capital campaign.
I want to say that rebuilding is a choice. No one will do it for us. And every day we woke up and choose life and decide that we are doing, not waiting. And rebuilding, it's like a puzzle, as Yerden said. We have so many things to do to make Kibbutz Be'eri and the area bigger and stronger and better than it was in October 6th. So this is why we are here.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. It's very inspiring, and your resiliency is incredible. And we were mentioning before, there's a YouTube video, and we'll share the link with you of the children. And this was probably within the past few months or so in their temporary place, and the children are all singing and dancing, and you just feel the love and the beauty of this incredible community. So we are here to help you rebuild, and we are here to help you heal. And I think there's a question over here, and then Cantor had a question. Yes, sir.
You asked me that, or you asked me ask my question.
Okay. Oh, great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, Cantor. And then we'll go over here. Yeah.
Oh, I could just be loud, but okay.
Okay.
Of course, the hope, the rebuild, the goal of everything is to come back to some sense of normalcy or retaining back what it was. But you said something that's sticking with me, and I'm curious, and I don't think I've heard anybody ever ask this. So you went back to work, which makes me question, that means that your work facilities were untouched or were accessible, unlike your homes. Because it says something to me. It says, the goal were the people, not necessarily the infrastructure. I've actually never looked at it from that perspective, thinking about the businesses that existed. So is that the case? Is that the businesses were essentially untouched?
Definitely, yes. They didn't care about the factories, they didn't care about they came to kill, to murder, and to kidnap. They didn't care to destroy. The destruction was a way to kill us, but it was a byproduct of them trying to murder us. But they didn't touch the dining room, for example. We know that they were there, but there was nobody there. There was no kibbutz members, so they didn't destroy it. The printing factory, since it was Shabbat, they didn't went inside since the printing was not working, the factory. So basically, out of the fields, it was because of fighting and the tanks that drove through and things like that. Most of our businesses were not destroyed.
I'll say that they came very systematic. They were very they practiced themselves, and they were inside of the kindergarten, for example, because the kindergarten is a safe room, so they were inside, so the kindergartens was destroyed during that attack, and many public buildings of the kibbutz were destroyed because they were inside, although there were not people, because it was Shabbat morning.
Hello, I was fortunate to visit Israel almost 5 years ago with several members of our congregation, and we stayed on a kibbutz near the Sea of Galilee. That particular kibbutz, which we stayed on, had sort of a hotel there, tourism as part of that. Does your kibbutz have any tourism as part of its operation? And also just to sort of educate us, what percentage of Israelis live on kibbutzim, so we can understand how you fit into sort of the whole aspect of Israel?
Yes, so Be'eri didn't have any, we had a touristic, we have a bicycle shop, we have Be'eri, the region of Be'eri is one of the most popular places for mountain biking. And so we had a bicycle shop and over 100 kilometers of trails, of single trails in the region for families and for advanced riders. But we didn't have a hotel in the kibbutz. Maybe in the part of the rebuilding. This is one of the things that we want to do, is to develop the tourism in the area, because the whole region is built on farming mostly, and people who work in our printing factory. So we want to develop the whole region to be more touristic. I think there will be more demand to visit the region now after October 7th.
Let's see, Michael, and then Doug. Yeah.
Thanks, first of all, for coming out today. It's really inspiring to hear you talk. You know, I've read a lot of accounts of the incredible bravery of all kinds of people up and down Israel during the attack. They were going in and saving people. You talked about the miracle at the kibbutz. I was wondering if you would be able to, you said 600 Hamas terrorists were coming over to attack the kibbutz. Could you talk about how it unfolded and your brother, I'm so sorry for your loss, I truly am. What a brave guy he was, and your father too, successfully held off terrorist attacks. Can you talk about how 600 terrorists come over and how it unfolded over the next hours where your security force, which I'm sure is quite small compared to that 600-person army, if you will, were able to hold them off, and then how it unfolded with first responders coming in and then finally the soldiers, how were they able to do it, and how did it ultimately end up?
Yes, so the terrorists arrived around 6:30 or just before 7 a.m. in the morning. At that time, there was only around 10 security force members in the kibbutz that had rifles. follow them. So they try to at least conquer the gate of Be'eri, so the rest of the forces will be able to get into Be'eri. The reality is that they were there by themselves and fighting on the gate of Be'eri, and when the next force arrived, it was just around 2 p.m.
Thank you for sharing that.
Well, let me first say thank you so much for speaking, and I hope you come back in 5 or 10 years and have a piece in our main topic could be how you can help my avocado tree. But I'm amazed and kind of inspired by your rebuilding story, but I'm curious, are all the kibbutzim rebuilding in the area, or some just were so damaged they're having to be abandoned or consolidated?
There are 3 kibbutzim that suffered the most. Nir Oz, Be'eri, and Kfar Aza. Kfar Aza and Nir Oz are smaller kibbutzim than Be'eri. And they didn't came back yet. They didn't start rebuilding. They didn't start the destroy of the houses, actually. And I think that Kibbutz Be'eri is kind of a symbol of the rebuilding. Everyone is looking at us and want to see how we are dealing with the situation. Not all of the kibbutzim that suffered. There were more than 12 kibbutzim that was conquered by Hamas. Not that didn't have so many victims as Be'eri, but they suffered. And because Be'eri was always a symbol, I think the entire country looked at us and want to see how we are dealing with the horrible situation. So, for your question, no, most of the kibbutzim didn't start rebuilding. We made it the first to do it.
There was a question over here, and then a couple over there.
My question was involving whether there's, because of this attack and because of all of the gruesome things that occurred, are there some national types of interventions or preventive kinds of activity for not just your kibbutz, but the kibbutz nationally throughout Israel? It seems to me that maybe there needs to be some much more security that's not just on the outer areas of Israel, but throughout Israel. And I'm just wondering if there's any conversations with the legislative branch to strengthen the security and the safety of not just your kibbutz, but all of the kibbutz in throughout Israel.
ways that we can help financially?
Yes, we have we can send
Oh, we've got handouts.
actually the link for the donations there.
Yeah, we're going to pass around a QR code, so we all, and it's more facts about the kibbutz's really phenomenal history and very successful history. And so it's a QR code, so we want to encourage everybody here today, please give what you can, give generously, and then give again, and help them rebuild this beautiful, beautiful community. There are a couple more questions here. Oh, yes.
I don't need the microphone. I think I can do that one. Thank you again for coming. This is very, very informative. I wanted to ask, you mentioned the mental health services that the government is providing, but can you elaborate on what is the government doing as far as rebuilding, helping to support the rebuilding of homes and your businesses?
So the government has a plan how to rebuild the kibbutzim, but they are doing it very slowly, and we are trying to fill the gap between what they are given and what they are not. For example, as Arden says, they give us only 12 mental health treatment for a year per person. It's not enough for people who suffer that much. We have many houses that are complex. They are the same house, 3 houses in one complex. And if one destroyed, we need to destroy the whole complex. But the government only fix one, pay for one. More than 12 public buildings were destroyed during the attack, and the government already said that they are not going to pay for the rebuilding. So there's a lot of things that we are trying to fill in between what the government gives and what we need to do by ourselves.
My name is Avital, and actually grew up in the region in Moshav. I was born there, and I have a lot of family there. So thank you for coming. It's a far way. It's a far distance to travel, and I appreciate you being here. And actually, my family also is in the agricultural community of Moshav, different Moshavim in the area, and I wanted to know. How, because the government gives you mental health support, what do you do? Is there something that in Be'eri you guys are doing on a daily basis with the community? How do you strengthen each other? Because you went through something that's very different than what other people went through on October 7th. So do you have your own set of program or behaviors? And, what can we learn from that?
I think for us, just being together and because we are only the people of Be'eri are the ones that can understand each other. So of them. We didn't have no Palestinian or Thai workers. And he said, we will figure it out, but we're going back to work. I called my friends from the IDF, and they called their friends, and we put on social media and in the media, and we had volunteers who came to help us, and we actually didn't leave a single fruit on the tree, and we picked 4,000 tons with just volunteers for 4 months. And not all the region managed to pick all the fruits like we did, but I believe that in this year, the next years, it will be different, and it will come back to some kind of routine in this year.
So you're going to buy
It was affected during the day, but a few days later we fixed it.
Okay, let's take one more question, and then we're going to distribute, we're going to pass out those QR codes and more information about Kibbutz Be'eri, and then we're going to do a prayer and a song that you all know, and we want our friends to be able to say goodbye to us, and then they're going to be traveling to another Jewish community, and then heading back. So we want to be very mindful of their schedule. So thank you all. So let's just do one more question. Was over here. I'm sorry, this is the first hand. You didn't get to ask a question. Hopefully there'll be an opportunity in some way to continue to ask. I didn't see who went first. I'm sorry. So yeah. Oh, she's offering to pass it to you. So there you go. Thank you.
What do you grow except for mangoes and avocados? Do you grow vegetables? And did Hamas destroy any of your orchard and your vegetable gardens?
Not really, they didn't destroy it. Later the fights, it caused it, and the fields were sometimes they had tanks and preparing for the fight, for the war in Gaza. There was tanks that drove through the fields, and soldiers that were kind of camping on the fields, preparing for it. But this was a small damage. They didn't really destroy that much. We grow, yes, we have fields that are mostly wheat and potatoes, and so we are very big. The Western Negev is like our, as she said, is like our big plains. This is the main source of food for the country of Israel. So we are big. We have the biggest fields and lands in the state of Israel. So we supply most of the things like sweet potatoes, carrots, this kind of thing, the wheat. We supply a lot of it. Most of what is produced in Israel, and also the orchards, which is avocado, mango, citrus, and jojoba.
Then what do you produce in the factory?
Printing factory.
Oh, it's a printing factory, okay.
Thank you for the question and for all the questions and discussion. We are going to help you all get the food and the supplies and all the produce and the nourishing the country. So we need some help. We're going to pass out some information about Be'eri, and we need some help with that. Philip, thank you. We get a couple of other volunteers. We're also going to pass out a prayer that we want to do together with our new friends. And so here's, and I realize we need to photocopy more. As has been said, thank you all again so much for coming on such short notice as what we are passing out. Okay, you can share those. On the QR code, it says, we are all Be'eri, and I think we all feel that today. Yeah. Oh, great. Okay. All right. Thank you. information. So you're going to see wonderful, just wonderful information about the kibbutz. And again, we want to encourage everybody to go online. You can find out more online about the kibbutz and the efforts of recovery. And there, the QR code will take you there. And again, you can see the YouTube of the wonderful children of Be'eri. And so again, our deep thanks to Adafna and to Yarden. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And so yes, that's going around. Thank you. Oh, does anybody else need we've got some more information about the kibbutz?
It's coming around.
Okay, raise your hand if you haven't got anything. Okay, all right. Does anybody need, may not have information about the kibbutz? Everybody has that? Great. Everybody has a prayer for the state of Israel. So we're going to do a prayer for our Jewish homeland. And before we do the prayer for our homeland that we'll all do together, we want to take a moment, as Dr. mentioned, a number of dozens of people were taken hostage, were taken captive on October 7th. Many returned, but not all returned. And as they said, 10 still held in captivity to this day, 7 believed to have died, and 3 still in captivity. So we are gathered here today to offer our prayers to our new friends, that their friends and the members of their community, their Kibbutz Be'eri, that they are returned safely. So we pray that they, for the safe release of return. And if you could please tell us their names.
Ohad Ben-Oni, Yossi Michaeli Sharabi, Vital Shalom.
Thank you. So we pray for their safe release and return. And we want to encourage you, too. There are opportunities to reach out to our governments here, locally and nationally, to encourage the return and the release of the hostages. So we invite you to please do that as well. I know sometimes it may feel like, what can we do? Especially, 8,000 miles away. But we can do things. Every small act that we do, it makes a difference. So we do have power, we have agency, and this is a show of love and support. So let's reach out to our officials. There are ways to do that, like I say, locally and nationally, to encourage their release. So we pray for them, and we help work toward their release. And we pray for the healing and the safety of all of our sisters and brothers in Israel. We continue that prayer that we have been saying since October 7th, that we will continue to say. And with so many people around the room, this prayer has been in your heart for over a year. And so we continue to pray on their behalf. And now let's together as a community pray for the people of Israel. And this is the prayer that we have shared during the High Holy Days here at Temple Sinai. And it seems so appropriate because it mentions about the saplings and the growth of Israel, the growth of democracy and the growth of love and goodness in the land of Israel, the courageous pioneers. This really is the story of your grandparents and your relatives and your community. So it's thinking of all the folks in Be'eri and the history there that we offer this prayer on behalf of the our entire Jewish homeland. That's Israel, and not Israel. So together let's pray. source of our people's liberation, whose home is the human heart. Give strength and shelter to the state of Israel and its people. With love, nourish the saplings of the land and preserve its growth. Bless the seeds of democracy planted by courageous pioneers. Bring to flower a good society rooted in history and hope. Let sweetness overwhelm sorrow, joy overcome despair. Rock and Redeemer, may the words of the prophet be fulfilled. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore. Source of peace, we pray for an oasis of peace, a home secure and safe, a wellspring of shalom for Israel, its neighbors, and all people. We want to again thank Shelley Friedthal so much. Let's hear it from Shelley. Bringing our wonderful new friends with us. So it was a really best. To our new friends. Much success on your journeys, yes, and we look forward to hearing again how things can progress, and if there's a way that we can be in touch with the community, we would love to be in touch personally and through email. And again, please give and give generously. Please, I want you to scan this QR code today, this week. Please do it while it's fresh in your heart and fresh in your mind. And speaking of what's fresh in heart and our mind right now, Cantor, yes.
You know my eyebrows, so I need to say something. Two things. This is live on Facebook, so if you're not, I will tag Sinai in it, and on my personal page. If for some reason you can't find it, just reach out to me. I made sure to put the QR code up there too for a minute if you missed it. I also do want to thank the Federation and Jason Moss for helping us get the word out to the greater East Valley community. Because while we see our tried and true faces from Temple Sinai, there are many faces we don't know here. So I'm happy that we can come together as a community. And I said to talk about the toughest questions in the safest place. So
Indeed. Thank you all for the wonderful discussion. So we're not going to put Daphna on the spot. She is a singer and songwriter, as you mentioned. So please find her on YouTube. But we wanted to, of course, sing together the prayer of our people, the prayer of our homeland, the Israeli national anthem. We wanted to sing together. So Dr. Cantor's going to lead the way, but we would love to have you, and then, yes, we're going to do it together. We're going to do it together as a community. Let's all stand together.
If you don't see it.
Yes. Oh, and by the way, I'm sorry. Page 678, if you don't know how to take it off by heart, and that's for many of us, page 678 in the prayer book. We'll give everybody a chance to find it. Page 678 in the Mishkan Tefillah.
Oh, Lord,
And you can